I recently had the perfect start to my hardcore Minecraft forever world. In this video, I'm going to be transforming an entire cliffside into a huge cozy farm. If you do enjoy watching Minecraft builds, please be sure to drop me a like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back in the forever world. And I have figured out what is next up on the agenda for me. But to tell you, I need a higher vantage point. So, you can't really see much from here. But there is a massive cliff edge here, and I want to turn this whole area into a huge, massive farm. To do that, first of all, it's going to take a lot of time, but it's also going to take a lot of seeds, a lot of carrots, a lot of potatoes, all that sort of thing. Luckily, we've got some sort of head start, because we've got these bad boys growing around in the background. But I need to take up many seeds and carrots and things as I can onto this hill, and set up a little base of operations so we can get things started. I've got a full inventory of pretty much all different types of farming equipment. We also need to figure out how we're going to make a valid, sustainable staircase going up and down, but that can be sorted out once we've actually got the farm going. I almost forgot, I need to take 2 buckets of water up with me so we can make ourselves an infinite water source. And it looks like by the time we get up there, it's going to be night time, so we're going to have to sleep again. Because for some reason, the phantoms come out every night now. But yeah, this is a big project, which I'm excited for. I don't know why, I get great satisfaction out of building farms in Minecraft. So, we are up here, and you can see how big this area actually is. I want to pretty much cover as much area as possible here. I haven't figured out what sort of layout I'm going to be doing, whether I'm going to have different elevations. And there was water up here anyway, but it's good to be prepared anyway. But yeah, I need to do some thinking and come up with a couple of ideas of what we can actually do. What I'm thinking is we do tiers, and what I mean by that is, say tier 1 is going to be this level here, and it will go back maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 blocks maybe, and then we go up a tier, and then we go up another tier, and then we have sections of different crops. So tier 1, 2 and 3, section 1 will be wheat, and then we have carrots, and then potatoes, and then wheat and carrots and potatoes, so on. But to do that, I'm going to need to pretty much excavate this whole area, which is going to be a lot of digging, and my shovel is probably going to break because it's got no one breaking on it. Yeah, I'm thinking we just flatten it all out to this level here, and then we can artificially put in our tiers afterwards. But it's going to be a lot of digging. And it's night time already, so there's going to be a lot of mobs pestering me. But I don't want to waste nights by sleeping through every night. So maybe I should light up the area a little bit. That's probably a good idea. But yeah, so I'm just going to get cracking, start excavating. And I will treat you guys to a lovely time lapse, because I know we all love them. But anyways, once I've got the majority of this area flattened out, I'll come back to you and we can discuss what we're going to do next. Okay, so my shovel is broken pretty quick, to be fair. It's my own fault. I should have just put unbreaking on it or something. But anyway, we've made some good progress. Pretty much cleared out this whole area. I want to keep a little bit of elevated land over here where we could build like a farmhouse or maybe a silo or something. But we've got a nice big area to actually farm on. We've got this cool stone structure here, which is naturally generated, and I think I'm going to keep it. Going to give it a nice touch to the farm, I think. But we've accumulated a ridiculous amount of dirt and gravel as well, which we could just bang in here. But we pretty much got all the essentials for what we need to start farming. Obviously, I need to terraform this area and turn it into that tier system that I want. But I also want to make the edge of the cliff like more of a sudden drop, if you get what I mean. Anyway, I think the next move for me here is, obviously I need to terraform this whole area. So again, I'm going to treat you guys, it's about 5 minutes into the episode, and I'm treating you to 2 lovely time lapses. Obviously, once I've got all that done, we'll come back and discuss what we're going to be doing next. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on day 46 of this series so far, and before I turn around, I have done a little bit of extra work. I may have gone slightly overboard. So I have implemented all of the 3 different tiers on each area, but I've also hoed and placed in pretty much all of the water sources that's needed for this farming area. I also went back down to our main base and brought up some more resources. So we've got like 10 stacks of potatoes, a lot of carrots, and a lot of seeds as well. But before I could say that we've actually done all of this area and we're ready to plant all the seeds, I've got to finish off hoeing the grass on this side and then putting more water sources up here. But the plan is, once I've got that done, we can put all the seeds down and finally move on to the fun bits of building and things. But I want to be putting up a wall here made out of different types of logs, like we did in the previous 100 days, if you've seen it. And then just over there is going to be where I'm going to be building like the farm houses and buildings. I am literally down to my last hoe, so hopefully this does the majority of the area, because then I'm going to have to get a couple more pieces of iron to make another hoe. We've officially run out of diamonds as well, which we're going to have to address at some point in the near future. But anyways, I'm going to crack on and get all this finished, and then once that's done we can start placing all the seeds down, all the carrots, all the potatoes, and while that's growing in the background we can do something else. Tell you what, I'm going to quickly try and fish a couple of pieces of iron because I know the hoe's going to break, and we may as well let the iron smelt in the background whilst we're doing something productive instead of just standing around and wasting time. It's typical. Whenever I don't need iron, it's just there ready to be taken, but now I'm searching for it, I can't find a single piece. Maybe there's some in this cave here? Nope, of course there isn't. Surely there's got to be a piece somewhere. Just 2 pieces of iron, that's all I need. I finally found some iron. I'm hoping, oh well, we got 2 pieces at least. Brilliant. At least we're gonna have enough to complete the rest of the hoeing that we've got to do. And from up here it looks quite cool even without all of the seeds and different vegetables placed in. Right, let's put this iron in the furnace so we can cook in the background while we're doing something productive with our life. I did see some of your feedback in the comments, and I noticed that a couple of people have mentioned about the coordinates on screen next to the day counter. For the next episode I'm going to try and get that turned off and just have the day counter remaining, but for the rest of this episode it's going to be on because it's not going to make much of a difference now, as we've had it on for the first, I don't know, 10-15 minutes of the episode anyway. But for the next episode of this series and all future videos, it's just going to be a day counter. And we are now down to the final patch. Finally, this is taking me way too long. But what I've been doing, I've been calculating 4 blocks out and then just placing a water source at the back and then doing the same again. And then really it's just giving a 4 gap in between and then placing another water source, and that seems to cover the majority of the area. Some areas aren't covered, so I have to add in an extra one. But in the grand scheme of things, these water sources probably won't be noticeable. I may even place some slabs over them in the future, but from a distance you're not going to be able to notice that there's water sources just laying around. I'm going to get this finished, get it all filled in and hoed, and once I've done that I'll come back to you and we can decide what we're going to be doing next. And there we have it. I finally finished setting up all the farm area, ready for all the seeds to be planted. And I was just brainstorming while I was finishing out this final area. Obviously I need a pathway to come through the centre of the farm, else the crops are going to be inaccessible, and in real life that's just not an option. So the pathway I've got in mind is just going to run through the centre of the farm area. It's not going to be dead straight, it's going to have some curvature to it, that sort of thing, and it's going to link up at the end or the start of the farm to where we're going to have our buildings and houses, that sort of thing. Obviously now I've got another boring draining part of actually planting all the crops, but I'm not going to bore you with yet another time lapse because that's going to be like 5 time lapses in the space of 10 minutes. Not literally, that's an exaggeration, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get this all finished And once that's finished, I'll come back to you again and we can start doing some things that are fun. But I promise this is all going to be worth it because it's going to look really nice and very aesthetically pleasing. But before we do that, sorry to interrupt you guys again, I need to figure out a plan of linking up this farm up here to our little area we've got down by the water there. We need some sort of staircase system going down the mountain that doesn't look horrible. We could even do it inside the mountain, but we've got plenty of time to think about that yet, as there is no time limit on this series. This is the forever world. But yeah, sorry, I get sidetracked so easily. I'm going to get the crops all finished and I'll see you guys when that's done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we have finished putting in all of the crops, all of the seeds, all the carrots and all the potatoes. And as you can see, it's looking pretty nice. Obviously, a lot of it needs to grow out before it looks fully fledged and aesthetically pleasing. But I can now say proudly we can move on to the next task. Like I previously mentioned, I'm going to be building the houses or the farmhouse around here. But I need a nice pathway to link it up to over here, because we're probably going to build something over there as well. But I will just show you, I've quickly started some small progress on another building that I want to be putting into the farm area. Is like a round, sort of like we did down in our other base. We're going to have a round wooden circle here with a glass window and a nice little cozy base on the inside, just to give it an extra touch up here. But for now I'm going to need to set up a little base of operations to store some stuff that we've got in the inventory, because you can see we've got like 5 million carrots and I need to clear up some space. We've got 13 stacks of carrots. We've got like unlimited wheat as well, so we've got unlimited food. That will never be a problem again. I did bring up a few resources with me. We got quite a bit of wood, to be fair, and I have smelted a little bit of stone, and you will see why. I'll tell you very shortly. So the design that I've decided I'm going to be going with, obviously I'm going to have a windy path going through the middle, but I'm going to be using stone brick and dark oak fences and fence gates. And what I mean by that is we're going to just do stone brick, fence gate, fence post, fence gate, and then stone brick. I'm going to do that in intervals all the way along. And I'm thinking we could also just bang stone brick wall on each one like that. Not like that, that was an accident. But yeah, I think that's going to look really nice. Obviously we need to clear a way through, which is going to be heartbreaking because it took me a lot of time, but it needs to be done. And I think it will look best if we do it on like sort of the middle tier, and we can work something going around our little stone monument that we got going on there. It is going to need to be 4 wide, yeah, at least 4 wide, because we need to put fences this side, fences this side with our path. So I'm going to crack on and get this whole area flattened out of what I need to flatten out. And once we've got that ready, I can come back and we can start working on the actual fence area. I think before we fully commit, it's probably a good idea to trial run what it's actually going to look like. So we'll just get started by doing... Something's gone wrong here already. Oh, that'll be why. Right, yeah, so we'll start by doing stone brick there, and then 1 stone brick there. And then obviously our fence gate, fence post, fence gate, stone brick, just like that. And I'm going to do that for this whole section here, and we can see what it looks like. I think it's going to look good anyway, but I'll come back to you when that's done. Just adding the stone brick walls on each stone brick block, but I'm loving the look of this already. And the plan is, once I've got enough iron, I'll be placing lanterns on top of these stone brick walls here. But just having a look around, I really do like the look of this design we got going on right now. But yeah, so that's the idea really. Obviously I need to, got my work cut out. I need to go all the way to the other side, all the way over there. But I'm going to get all that finished. I'm not going to bore you guys with a time lapse of me building the wall, because I'm sure a lot of you probably don't want to see that. But I'm going to get all of it finished. And once it's finished, obviously we need to put the flooring in as well, which I'm probably just going to use a variety of stone brick, smooth stone, cobblestone to give it a nice texture. But once it's finished, we can move on to actually building the farmhouse and the cliff base here as well. Okay then, 5 days later, we've finally finished the path going through. However, I did decide to extend the rest of the farm out this way, and I'll be building our farm buildings down on this patch of grass you can see here. But the plan is now I want to build a wall at the end of these carrots here, just purely for aesthetic, you know, and it makes it feel a little bit more safe. And the way I'm actually going to build the wall is going to be similar to what we did in the last 100 days. It's using all different types of logs and then just stripping them afterwards. And we're going to go all different types of height to give it some sort of variation. And you can see when they're stood side by side, they actually look really nice. But yeah, you get the gist. So I'm going to crack on and get this wall here finished. It's not going to take me long because we're just going to the edge of the cliff here. And once that's finished, we'll sleep the night away and we can crack on with the ideas I've got for the actual farm building area. And bang, the wall has finished. Just look at it from the exterior on the other side. That looks pretty nice. I like that, to be fair. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Take a look at this chest and how much wheat we've actually got. And all the carrots as well. The carrots are probably never going to get used, but the wheat's quite useful. But anyways, more importantly, let me show you the completed path. Well, it's not fully completed, obviously, because I need to extend it going all the way to the wall. But for now, I just want to move on to something a bit more enjoyable, because I've been working on this farm and this path for way too long. And I can get that done in my spare time. But yeah, the design, pretty simple. It looks nice. Apart from this area here, I couldn't figure out what to do. But it's a nice, simple but effective design. We've got our stone monument that's naturally made. And it leads to this big space over here, which gives us a lot more room and area to play with. So the quick draft that I've got up in my mind is I'm going to put a wall coming down from this mountain here all the way around to somewhere at the end there. And then we got this whole area to build on. I want to be building like a big farmhouse, maybe like a barn as well for some animals. And I'm sure I'll get a couple of other ideas that come to mind as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I've gone and collected as much wood as possible from our little forest that we made down there. And that leaves us with about 6 stacks of spruce. We've got 3 stacks of dark oak logs, and we've got a couple of stacks of oak logs. I've been thinking about what to build and how I'm going to build it, but I've decided the best course of action for me is probably just to start building with no plan. I find that my best builds always come from when I build with no plan. With that being said, I definitely do want like a big farmhouse somewhere close to the edge of the mountain, so I may have to extend this little area here. I've got about 3 stacks of dirt to work my magic, so let me get this done and we've got a nice foundation to actually build on. Right, and that's a lot better. We've got a much bigger space to work with here. Trying to work out which angle I want the front of the house to be on. Do I want it the entrance being here or the entrance being here? I think it'll make more sense the entrance being looking towards the farm and the mountain. I don't know why, it just makes more sense in my head. And unfortunately, my diamond axe is broke and we have no more diamonds left, so I'm going to have to resort to using iron again. Just momentarily, because I want to focus on getting the builds done before wasting another 2 days down in the mine. And this is going to be quite a big building. I want it to stand out, really stick out. So I'm going to be making it around 19 blocks wide. Instead of going 19 blocks wide, I've decided we're going to go 17 blocks wide. Here's why. This area here is going to be the entrance bit, and I'm thinking we have a nice curved roof going up like that, like we've done with the buildings down in the other base. And also on this face is going to be curving up and meeting with the other area we've got here. And we'll be bringing the entranceway out a few blocks as well. Obviously, I need to move this chest out of the way. It's not going to be too crazy, literally just a three block gap. So I need to move this chest. Yeah, so just something like this. We've got the entranceway and the roof can start with a nice grand entrance. We can even put like a little fence around here. But anyways, I need to get the whole foundation of this building laid out before we can start making crazy ideas like that. Right, I finished up the frame for the house. You can see it's quite large. Hang on, let me give you a quick, better view. Oh, I don't know why it's glitching like that. There we go. But yeah, the frame is massive. So I want this building to really stand out and stick out from the other buildings that I've made down there. At the end of the day, this is going to be the farmer's house. It's going to need a lot of storage area to store all of the crops. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done to this building. I want to be using stone brick walls along the bottom half, and then some like stripped logs above. I don't know which stripped logs yet, but to do that I'm going to need a lot of cobblestone, and I'm going to need to smelt it up. So I've got some mining to do before we can get on with that. And unfortunately my pickaxe is going to break for some reason. I've got mending on it and it just doesn't seem to do anything. I'm probably doing something wrong though. But I need to spam these spam these villagers a little bit to get more sticks, so we can get another efficiency 5 book. But I want to make an enchantment table so we can get unbreaking on it as well. So I may or may not have got sidetracked from what I said I was going to do, but for good reasons. Instead of grinding, getting sticks and emeralds, I decided just to get some diamonds and some ores to get some XP to make the pickaxe repair itself. But while I'm down here, I'm also getting some more deep slate. As you know me, I like to use deep slate for the roofs and just other features. So once I've got what I need from the mine, I'll meet you back at the surface. But we're back up to the surface and we're finally getting order around here. Got all this cobblestone smelting and on the go. The pickaxe is fully replenished and it only took 4 diamonds. And in the chest, we've got 4 stacks of deep slate, which should definitely be enough to finish off the roof. And our stone brick collection is piling up, and all that is left to do is to crack on with the house. This is probably going to take me longer than most of the builds that I've done, because I'm planning a lot of detail for this house. I just want it to look absolutely perfect. But without further ado, I'm going to jump in to getting this house done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally finished building the shell of this building. To give you a better look, if it stops glitching, there we go, I've got it to work. So this here is the front of the building. As you can see, we've got a nice curvy roof, and if we go around to the back, it's just more of the same with a nice big window. But the whole plan is, this here is going to be the entrance way. We're going to have some like a door here with a small balcony area extending out, and then it'll be the same for this side. But inside we've got a huge amount of space. It's massive, and we can have 2 stories. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be elevating the flooring in here just by 1 block, but I need to divide this whole inside into areas and different rooms. So I'm going to crack on doing that using some of the logs, just getting the room layout set up. And once I've done that, I'll come back to you and we can have a think about designing of what we actually want the inside to look like. Right then, so I've finished a rough layout for the inner design of where the rooms and things are going to be. So we're going to come into the entrance here. We'll have some nice little decorations, maybe even a couple windows, and it elevates up leading to the downstairs area. I've sectioned off a room over here, this sort of entranceway room here, and then another room on this side. And this room does have a staircase leading up. Obviously I need to finish this staircase here, but it's going to come up to here to a nice window where we can look at the farm and check all the crops and see how they're growing. And we can have a nice bed space with some storage just up here. But yeah, so that's the rough design of what's going to be going on here. Obviously I've got lots of decorating to do. I've got to add some natural lighting. The balcony areas I was talking about has got to be added in. But I've got my work cut out ahead of me, so I'm going to crack on and get most of this done. And once we've made some good amount of progress, we can talk about decorating the whole house, because we've got this whole rear side of the building that needs to be decorated, because right now it doesn't look that pleasant. We could even add another balcony area in around the back here. I think that would look quite nice. But yeah, I need to crack on and get this work done. Once we've made some significant progress, I'll come back to you guys with an update. But before we do that, if you have made it this far into the video, be sure to comment pig down below. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have put in a nice bit of work, to be honest. And this is what it's shaping up to look like. Let me see if I can get a better angle for you. So the front of the house, I finished the 2 small balcony areas. I've implemented a small little window you can see there. I've used trapdoors, half slabs and some fence posts, but I need to get some sand for the glass. But if we move on into the inside, it still needs a little bit of work. But the entranceway is pretty basic. We've got our stairs coming up, some fence posts with some more stairs and a trapdoor. And I've gone with that theme to the entranceway for each room. But the stairs give it like a nice little pillar effect with the trapdoors as well. We've got some empty space here to work with, but it leads onto the balcony area. I can add a couple of decorations on here at some point. And the same with the other room. I've just added in some barrels underneath the stairs to give it a nice effect. And then it leads out onto the second balcony, which gives us a nice look over the farm and the views in the distance. Going upstairs, I've put some chests underneath the staircase here. And I still need to figure out what I want to be doing for the upstairs area here. But the bit that I'm excited to show you is back downstairs. I've added in the rear balcony, but you can see the shape of the back of the house is looking really, really nice, I feel. Obviously, like I said, I need to get some glass to patch in the window areas, and I need to decorate each side of the house. But apart from that, we're pretty much nearly done with this building, and I feel that it looks really nice. The plan is I'm going to sleep away the night because I know some phantoms are due an attack any moment now, and then I'm going to make my way down to our original base and see if we've got any sand laying in the chest. If not, I'll have to dig some up off the shore. Okay, then we finally got some glass. I had to travel all the way down there to get some sand, but nevertheless we've got what we need now. And I've added this small little entrance thing here just to make it look a little bit better. Let's go and add in our glass to the windows. We'll start off with the big main window here. Perfect, that's looking lovely. And then obviously just our little entrance window like that. Perfect, looking really nice. I was thinking for this side of the house we could probably add in another window area, and then once I've completed on this house, I do want to add, I know I've never done one of these before, but I want to add another tower, a bigger tower, somewhere like here. Now for the window on this side of the building, I want it to be quite big, so we're going to do 2 windows in a 2x3 format. Just because else, if we've just only got torches lighted, it's a bit boring. It's always a bit dark. And we could just follow a similar sort of design using dark oak slabs, just like that. And we can even do the same underneath. And then we've got the choice of, we can either use stone brick walls in between each one, or dark oak fences. And I think the dark oak fence is going to look better with this one, as we got stone brick on the bottom layer. It doesn't really blend in well. And we can even throw in some trapdoors underneath, just like that. I think it will look better if we go up and raise the slabs that are above the glass panes, just like that. And then we do the same on the other side. If we just take a little look, see what that looks like. I think that looks really nice actually. I quite like that. And just throw in some lanterns around the area to brighten things up. Again, if we just take in a moment to really take in the build, I think it looks really nice, and I'm very happy with how it's turned out. Looking at it with the farm in the background, and I really like the way it's looking. But we still need to find a way to incorporate the build that we've done up here and all the buildings we're going to do to link it with our other village down there, with a nice like path and stairway leading to the other village, which shouldn't be too hard. But like I said, I want to build a nice big tower, like going very high up, so we can look over the farm, look over all our area, and then probably like a wall along the edge, just containing the whole area. Okay, so I think the next course of action for me is I need to tidy up the area a little bit and look at it a bit more so it blends in and looks very nice and scenic, and maybe build like a couple small buildings, maybe a barn, before I build the huge tower, because I want it to be a big tower. I don't want it just to be a small regular tower like we got down at the bottom base. But for the rest of this episode, I want to get a nice little pathway going linking up to the farm, and maybe get some animals and some nice cozy pens for them. I'm thinking that we can build a barn, maybe 2 barns down on this level we've got here. I'm thinking one for sheep and one for a few pigs, because I can't find any cows up here and I don't want to be dragging them up a mountain. But it's not going to be anything too extravagant. It's something nice and simple. The template that I've gone with, it's just a small entranceway where the animals can wander in and out. Hang on, I've not done this right. Let me change this and get it to what I need it to be. Okay, right, I know what you're thinking. This is much larger than the previous design that I had. I thought if I'm going to build a barn, then I may as well build a proper barn. But this is the layout that I'm going to be going for. So we will be going in to the centre, and off to the left there'll be some nicely sized pens, maybe like a pig one, a chicken one, that sort of thing, a sheep over here, another pig one. But we'll have some nice sized pens for the animals to live in. But yeah, I'm going to be building not a huge extravagant roof like we got on here, because it's going to look stupid, but something maybe a little bit curved on the centre bit and something with a little bit of incline on either side. But I'm going to go ahead and pop the roof on, and once the roof's finished I'll come back and we can both go in and start building. Oh, hang on, this skeleton wants some. Yeah, what I'm saying is we can go in together and start building and designing the interior of the barn. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I have completed the construction of the roof. So as you can see, this is the design that I'm going for. I've used dark oak log for the centre, more curvy area of the roof. And I've used a mix of deep slate slabs and spruce slabs on top. Let me get a higher point of view for you. So yeah, you can see it a bit better now in this angle, but that's the design for the roof that I've gone for. I've also added some buttons, some stairs and trapdoors in between to give it more of a nicer effect. But yeah, so the only things that we really need to do now is work on the inside of the actual barn. I'm going to start by lighting the place up because it's extremely dark in here. I'm thinking if we follow the same pattern with the deep slate that we've used around the edges as the lower level of the wall, and we do that all the way around, I think that will look quite nice. Perfect, just like that. I think that looks very nice actually. I really do like that. And for the inside of the actual barn, we've got enough space to make it 3 wide, but plenty of space in lengthwise. So if we just put a little divide up in the middle here using deep slate. I need more deep slate though. Yeah, so the divide's going to be pretty much like this. I just need to fill in the rest of this grass area here to make it all level. So once I've done that, we'll come back and start getting out all the details of this. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is we can use stone brick walls on either side like that as the entranceway, and then sort of going with the same design we did for the farm pathway. We'll go fence gate, fence post, fence gate. Why is that? Have I done something wrong? I figured out what the issue was, is because it connected up to the deep slate wall, but now I've fixed it. So this is the design we're going to be using to partition each of the barn areas. But just as the window space is, we're going to be going fence gate, fence, fence gate. So let me get this filled in on this side and then we can start doing the other side as well. Perfect, and this is what it looks like from the exterior, and I think this is looking very nice. I like this. I do need to brighten up the area though, because it's extremely dark. And then we're literally going to do the exact same thing for the other side. And once we've actually completed the barn and got all the animals in place, we need to link up a pathway from each building and that pathway over there. And hopefully that should leave us with a good 25, maybe 20 days to focus on building the big tower. Right, and with that being said, I believe the exterior and the interior of the barn is now completed. And it's looking very nice, I must say. The only thing we need to do now is lower some animals into here. Okay, I've managed to get ourselves some animals for the barn, which is good news. We've got 1 pig, just a singular pig for the moment. There only seems to be 1 whole pig in this whole world. But we've got a few sheep and we've got a few chickens. There is another space maybe for a horse if we can find one, but for now we've got a good little start for the barn area. And I can comfortably say that the only thing that we really need to do now for this episode is make a nice stony pathway linking up each of these buildings here, and of course our staircase, or our pathway, sorry, over here. And the pathway is going to be comprising of a few different types of stone. We got deep slate bricks, got stone bricks, cobbled deep slate, andesite, and cobblestone. And that should give us a nice little variety for what we want to do. But first of all, I need to dig out, carve out a nice little pathway. Oh my god, that was close. I panicked. I literally panicked. Oh my god. That could have been the end of the video. See, that's what happens when you get too comfortable. And again, I panicked. I keep clicking the inventory button. Oh my god, I need to be more aware of my surroundings. But yeah, you get the gist. I'm going to crack on and get this pathway done. It's not going to take me too long. Once I've done that, I'll come back and we can admire what we've done to this place. And just like that, the pathway has been completed. Again, nothing sophisticated, something nice and simple, which links up each of the buildings. Did have a couple setbacks. I got blown up by 3 creepers in total, but this is a nice way, I feel, to round off the end of this episode. And if you have enjoyed, please leave me a like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. But thank you all for tuning in. And as always, let me know down in the comments below if there's anything you want me to do, anything I can improve on, or just any tips overall. But thank you for watching and take care.